So we just started recording our new record with Go Big, and that's very exciting to me because we've been working on this for, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years now. And it's about time we get this thing recorded. We just went in, we started with Joe, and Joe's recording some drums. We're gonna do 11 songs on this record, and that's a first for us, going over 10. That's been our goal for this record, and we've accomplished it, so we're real pumped. As we go through, we're gonna talk about each person in the band, and how they joined the band, and how they started playing their instrument, and whatever. You'll see how this goes. Anyway, we're starting with Joe. Here's about Joe. Ready for today, Billy?
No.
I came here looking for something and I found you.
When I was starting to go big, it was an obvious choice that Joe was the drummer. Beyond obvious. Joe is my business partner, Joe's my best friend, and Joe and I are constantly, if I'm doing something, Joe's attached to it. And that's basically how Go Big started.
I think the very first Go Big stuff we did was in my old bedroom in my mom's house.
We had been renting an apartment together in a big house.
When we were in transition from moving from one house we lived in to the other, and we lived with Willie in that room for a week because we couldn't move into the other house.
We were all living in Joe's childhood bedroom, and during that time we said, let's start jamming some songs. And right next to where, you know, we pushed over where I was sleeping on the floor, moved all the sheets and whatever, set up the drum set.
I think that's the first time we ever played Go Big songs. Then outside of that, we moved to the garage, where I used to have to keep a skateboard wedged into my bass drum so it wouldn't push forward and away, because we hadn't thought of cinder blocks or other methods yet. Straight up.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
If not, we could just record you kicking the floor and...
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't think that I should be alone. Don't leave me alone.
Yeah, I really don't remember like when exactly he started. Cause he's 5 years older than me. Did he start? Do you know when he started?
When did you start playing drums?
When I was 10 years old, because my Uncle Jimmy played the drums, and I always wanted to, but school wouldn't let me because there's too many drummers, so I had to play the trumpet. And then finally, when I was 10, they're like, all right, there's an opening in the school band, you can play the drums. And then I was like, oh, these aren't the drums I want to play. I want to play drum set. And then I moved to the drum set, and my uncle bought me a set. And the rest is, well, we're here now.
Yeah, like he quickly became like really, really good.
I didn't realize that Joe was really, really good at the drums until like I started playing with him, which to be fair, I don't have a lot of experience with like drummers, so like I don't know what's good and what's not good. But once we started playing out, people would always come up to Joe and be like, oh my God, like you're amazing, or like, oh my God, Joe's amazing. And then I was like, oh, like I'm lucky I get to play with like a really good drummer. Like I had no idea he was really good.
And even just in terms of like writing, it was all just like very like succinct parts that are really appropriate but are just done super well. You know what I mean?
When I'm showing Joe a song, I give Joe very little directions as far as the drumming goes, because I know Joe's gonna come up with something generally that's far better than anything I had envisioned.
I feel like more than some other people, Joe definitely, like if I'm doing something cool vocally, like he'll match that on the drums and he'll change what he's doing to like sound cool with what I'm doing.
It's not like a flashy drummer, but like can be, and like everything's just like played so like tightly and perfectly. And he's been that way since he was 6 years old.
If we're playing a show, I can get lost at times, different, you know, sound systems and all this kind of stuff, and I can just sort of lean on Joe. He's always there. He's always steady. He's sort of the rock of the band. So.
Been these streets since 4:30.
What's different about playing live versus recording?
Very different. Very different. When we're playing live, I'm the conductor of sorts. I'm watching everyone. I'm not conducting, I'd say. I'm like gluing us together, making sure that we're moving together. This, I am focused with the click track, and I think about that. So I'm trying to let my hands do whatever they want to do while I'm focused on that click to make sure that we're always locked in. Oh, let me just go down the stairs. Let me just paddle my canoe up the stairs.
What do you think of Joe's job today?
Pretty good.
Pretty good?
Yeah, a lot of it's gonna be touched up in going further, but
Is any of it usable?
yeah, definitely usable.
All right.
Mostly usable.
We strive for mediocrity.
Yeah, we nailed it.
I love your like. That does make that sound.
Honestly, like, best drummer ever. Best drummer I've ever seen.
I feel like Joe's the backbone of the band.
And like he's a good guy, right? I feel like he's like dead.